The motorcycle had what is called the wobbles and had them very badly. In order to keep my position, a good many things were required of me, and in every instance the thing required was against nature. Against nature, but not against the laws of nature. That is to say, that whatever the needed thing might be, my nature, habit, and breeding moved me to attempt it in one way, while some immutable and unsuspected law of physics required that it be done in just the other way. I perceived by this how radically and grotesquely wrong had been the lifelong education of my body and members. They were steeped in ignorance. They knew nothing. I found myself falling to the right. I put the bars hard down the other way by quite natural impulse, and so violated a law, and kept on going down. The law required the opposite thing. The wheel must be turned in the direction in which you are falling. It is hard to believe this when you are told it, and not merely hard to believe it, but impossible. It is opposed to all your notions, and it is just as hard to do it after you come to believe it. Believing it and knowing by most convincing proof that it is true does not help it. You can't any more do it than you could before. You can neither force nor persuade yourself to do it at first. The intellect has come to the front now. It has to teach the limbs to discard their old education and adopt the new. The steps of one's progress are distinctly marked. At the end of each lesson he knows he has acquired. That is to say, take a grip on one villainy at a time and learn it, not ease up and shirk to the next, leaving that one half learned. By this time you have learned to keep your balance and also to steer without wrenching the tiller out by the roots. I say tiller because it's a tiller. Handlebar is a lamely descriptive phrase. Gravel was a bother to me. Even the smallest ones gave me a panic when I went over them. I could hit any kind of a stone, no matter how small, if I tried to miss it, and of course, at first, I couldn't help trying to do that. It is but natural. It is part of the ass that is put in us all, for some inscrutable reason. I was at the end of my course at last, and it was necessary for me to round to. This is not a pleasant thing when you undertake it for the first time on your own responsibility, and neither is it likely to succeed. Your confidence oozes away. You fill steadily up with nameless apprehensions. Every fiber of you is tense with a watchful strain. You start a cautious and gradual curve, but your squirmy nerves are all full of electric anxieties. So the curve is quickly demoralized into a jerky and perilous zigzag. Then suddenly the nickel-clad horse takes the bit in its mouth and goes slanting for the curbstone, defying all prayers and all your powers to change its mind. Your heart stands still. Your breath hangs fire. Your legs forget how to work. Straight on you go, and there are but a couple of feet between you and the curb now. And now is the desperate moment, the last chance to save yourself. Of course, all your instructions fly out of your head, and you whirl your wheel away from the curb instead and toward it. And so you go sprawling onto that granite-bound, inhospitable shore. That was my luck. That was my experience. I dragged myself out from under the indestructible motorcycle and sat down on the curb to examine. Even after I got so I could steer pretty fairly, I was so afraid of those stones that I always hit them. They gave me the worst falls I ever got in the street, except those which I got from dogs. I have seen it stated that no expert is quick enough to run over a dog. That is, a dog is always able to skip out of his way. I think that might be true, but I think that the reason he couldn't run over the dog was because he was trying to. I did not try to run over any dog, but I ran over every dog that came along. I think it makes a great deal of difference. If you try to run over the dog, he knows how to calculate. But if you're trying to miss him, he does not know how to calculate and is liable to jump the wrong way every time. It was always so in my experience. Even when I could not hit a car, I could hit a dog that came to see me practice. They all liked to see me practice, and they all came, for there was very little going on in our neighborhood to entertain a dog. It took time to learn to miss a dog, but I achieved even that. I can steer as well as I want to now, and I will catch that one other rider one of these days and run over him if he doesn't reform. Get a motorcycle. You will not regret it if you live